Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another Volley Rally. This week, I'm joined by JK from Maplewood Toyota. JK, how are you doing today?
I'm doing very well, thank you. How are you?
I'm doing awesome. Really appreciate you taking the time to talk about your day as a BDC manager. But do you want to introduce yourself, what all you do in the store?
Sure, absolutely. So again, my name is JK, and not only am I with Maplewood Toyota, but I'm also with Inver Toyota, owned by the same person, operate completely separately, but then we share the BDC here. So my exact title would be Service BDC Manager, and I've been with the company. It will be 11 years in December. So I've seen a lot of change over the years that I've been here. So I'm excited to get into that with you as well, Jake. Um, my main role every single day is to be the service BDC manager. So a lot of it is going to be monitoring the agent activities and their productivity. Phone traffic is a huge part of it. I'm constantly watching the queue, especially on days where we are going back and forth from inbound and outbound. So that's a big part of it. Maintaining the coverage is always going to be, biggest priority. Inbounds are going to be your highest priority overall. So being able to kind of identify, where we have holes, where we need to, add more people back into the inbounds, or when it can, actually quiets down and being able to kind of catch up on a lot of those outbound contacts too. So,
Hmm.
um, investigating customer concerns, pulling phone calls, for our service managers whenever that's needed, um, discrepancies that we might come across, and then collaborating with our customer success manager and kind of just doing that sort of investigation and research into why things are the way that they are, or how profiles got merged, or how they got mixed up. So doing a lot of that. Auditing the agent's phone calls, listening to some of the phone calls that they have and interactions they have with customers, and then continuing that coaching with them even when they're months into their position. So
Hmm.
a lot of one-on-one activity with my agents, a lot of communication, between me and my agents, and the service managers and service advisors throughout the entire department.
Well, it sounds like you do a lot of, as you said, one-to-one interactions with your agents. You're monitoring their activity throughout the day. And I've actually been and visited you in person, and I know that you run a pretty tight ship there in a good way. So, I mean, you do a good job of managing the team. So, with that said, can you talk a little bit about what your day in Volley looks like? What are you doing uh, in the software yourself?
I mean, for the most part, I'm living in the live dashboard, right? That's going to give me everything that I need to see: agent statuses, queue, hold times, jobs, and things like that, right? So that's going to be the main dashboard that I'm living in all day. It gives me everything that I need to know at a glance. Um, Aside from that, as you can probably already imagine, I'm living in the reporting world, which, like you mentioned, you guys pretty much built everything for me. A lot of stuff is very just automated at this point when it comes to reporting. Whenever a manager asks for this data or that data, it's boom, 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 got it, done, sent. So I'm constantly looking at trends. Is a big part of my role too. Is how are we performing month over month? How are we performing day over day? And watching those that data fluctuate. Um, Aside from that, then living in the admin tab too, whenever we have to make any quick changes to customers' information, pulling phone calls, updating campaigns, and changing the parameters, things like that. So a lot of back end stuff as needed throughout the day. I still obviously rely a lot on our customer success manager with certain things, but it's like totally user friendly for the most part. It's pretty easy for me to navigate my way around the back end of things.
Hmm. And so, as you talk about, hey, I live in the live dashboard. I look
Mhm.
at the reports, they update automatically. Volley's built them, all that stuff, right?
Yeah.
How has your day changed? You've said you've been there for 11 years, which congratulations. I mean, that's a long time to be in any position. But how has your role evolved since you've added Volley and a lot of those things are automated?
Oh my goodness, it's evolved a ton. I mean, it's taken away a lot of manual reporting. I mean, it's definitely Excel has now become kind of my geeky thing. And back in the day, whenever I look back to when I first started here, and just having to deal with use the programs that we had to use then, that wasn't necessarily built for a BDC. So having to manually create tasks or customers for the BDC agents to call was just time consuming. I remember doing tick logs, having to manually track the inbounds and the outbounds. It's taken that all away for myself and for my agents. I still have some custom reporting that I work on a day-to-day basis, but most of it I'm just pulling over from Volley. You guys, have built out a ton of great reporting that gets extremely granular, even more granular than I would have ever even thought of. So a lot of the manual process has gotten away. Another big part of it is transparency. I can see anything down to anything really. There isn't anything that you can't find in there when it comes to the agent's activity, to the campaign performances. It gives you all the visibility that you really need. And I feel like even though I'm doing less work, I have more control over
Mhm.
day-to-day operations. The automation is phenomenal. I love that. Not having to worry about, manually uploading a list every single day has changed, my day-to-day responsibilities. The communication with customers, and their overall experience. I mean, to customers, they probably don't realize it. They're just calling a dealership to call the dealership, like they have for 40 years at Maplewood Toyota. But they don't realize that, like, we have a paper trail for everything. We can see that they've communicated with this agent and that agent. Before it was, hey, somebody in the service department, did you guys talk to this person? And everyone's like, we don't know. But now we do. And that's come a very long way. Another big piece about this customer experience is the missed calls function. We used to not be able to track or see which customers hung up or got dropped in the process while they're waiting in the queue. And now that we can see all of that and being able to call these customers back, they appreciate it, even though even though it was probably their fault. They appreciate the phone call back that, we saw them and we care about what they were calling us about. And so we're here now to help. So that's been a big game changer for us, for sure.
Mhm. Well, one of the trends we see is a lot of those customers who drop off, they don't end up calling back in.
Right.
So, very glad to hear that that you guys are able to have visibility on that, track that, and empty that queue. Is there anything that kind of going off of how your days change and all the things that you're able to get to, like you said, all the manual tasks that you were doing are gone? Is there anything that you're doing now that's in your day to day that are things that you're able to do because you have more time?
Absolutely. My role has evolved a little bit in the last couple of few years as well. I now help oversee the digital marketing and advertising for the service departments at both stores as well. So it has expanded, my brain a little bit more when it comes to BDC overall in general, and the marketing piece it just makes sense. I mean, BDC, it falls underneath the marketing umbrella. So now being able to also make decisions and see the creative that we are sending out via hard mail or email, and then communicating that to the agent so that they're aware of the fact that these customers could be calling in with this very specific special. So it has broadened up a lot of my time to be able to put a full focus on marketing in general for the whole service department.
How many agents do you guys have there?
I currently have 12 agents.
And do you know how do they enjoy? How's their day change? Do they enjoy calling out a volley? Do they?
They do, absolutely. They don't even know how to use their physical desk phone really anymore at this point. I still kind of have to walk over and teach them where, which buttons to press to get to where. So they're all cloud based now. I mean, they're extremely tech savvy and whatnot. So, yeah, they really enjoy working in Volley. The ones who were here prior to Volley, um, who were able to kind of go through the transition and be able to experience the manual life down to now to the automated cloud-based life. They absolutely enjoy it. It's definitely helped them a whole lot with their efficiencies. Being able to be fed all of the information that they ultimately need to contact a customer, whether if it's inbound or outbound, has truly saved them a lot of time in researching, the customer's information and, the vehicle service history and things like that. So it's definitely helped them a lot with their efficiencies. And so this was definitely a good move, and they were all for it when we made the launch.
Mm-hmm. Awesome. Well, thank you very much. You're a very valued partner. We love working with you in Pearson, who's for everyone else their customer success rep, loves working with JK, loves working with the stores, and I mean, nothing but great things to say. We appreciate you taking the time to come on here. Is there anything else that before I wrap up here, anything else that you want to mention about your day in Volie as a manager?
No, not necessarily. I mean, just kind of uh, piggybacking back to the transparency and the visibility. I mean, ultimately at this point I can be anywhere at any time. Like before, because I do get pulled into meetings, and we have multiple buildings at our location, so I'm constantly roaming the campus. But being able to be anywhere and now being able to see the live activity that's going on definitely puts you at ease. Not with the fact that you're not physically in the office to be with your agents, but you can still monitor everything and still fix it, correct it on the go wherever you are, whether if you're at work or when you're not at home. And I'm not working from home. I sign on sometimes. You can totally leave this out, but it has become extremely helpful when it comes to watching the day-to-day operations and not physically being in my office.
Well, I totally know what you mean, and again, I've been there to visit you, and the room where we met physically, we were
Mhm.
like 4 buildings down from
Yes.
where the BDC is physically located. So I can totally see that if you're pulled into a meeting, but you want to have the dashboard open to be able to see what's going on. I mean,
Yep.
I get it. I get what you're talking about for sure.
For sure. Yep. Absolutely.
Awesome. Well, JK, thank you very much for taking the time to walk through your day with us and walk through your experience with Volie. We really, really appreciate it.
Well, I appreciate you guys thinking of me. I'm thankful for the support from everybody from Volie. And I look forward to continuing to work together.
Awesome. And thank you for everyone listening. Have a fantastic day.